Hi, welcome back to another video in the Linux series with Linux with SQL. We'll be at SQL in just a few videos, but we're still on the heavier with Linux side for this one, continuing that. Now, what I'm going to do for this one is add and manage users with a few Linux commands. Now, previously I focused on authorization, right? And the concept of granting access to specific resources in the system, particularly with Linux in this case. Now, another important concept in security is authentication, right? Not just authorization, but authenticating that authorization, right? Now, which is the process of a user improving that they are who they say they are in the system. Now, managing when managing this, security professionals usually we need to secure not necessarily all users. We need to ensure not all users get access to the system. We need to make sure new users, those who are new to an organization or to a group, if they have promotion, congratulations, are added to the system, and current users who change the groups or leave the organization are deleted as well. So what I'm going to do in a few activities, I'm just going to use a few different commands: useradd, usermod, user delete, and chown commands to manage user access in the Linux bash shell here that I have. Now, just to paint the scenario again before we continue, let's say a new employee with the username, let's say researcher9, the number 9, joins an organization, let's say Apple, let's say whatever favorite organization pops in your head when I say it. I have to add them as a security professional to the system, or admin, depending on your enterprise. I have to add them to the system and continue to manage their access during their time with the organization, right? Now I'm going to do a few tasks just to showcase this, right? So first, what I'm going to do is actually add a new user, right? So again, new employee just joined the research department, right? And so I'm going to add them to the system, right? So if I do that, it'll look something like this. Actually, let me make sure I'm in the correct. Um, let's see. Make sure I'm in the correct one here. Home research. Um, do one that. So this should be fine. So let's see. Uh, we're not going to give you a name. Let's just say research. Okay, perfect. So let's add it. Let's actually confirm. Um, to check for the users, but nonetheless, I need to add the new user, not only to add them to the group, but also add them to the research underscore team group. So let's go ahead and get started with that command here. So let's do okay. All right, let's go ahead and fix that. Okay, so what I did was, of course, again, always user error. I forgot to place something else in that. User research team does not exist. Okay. That's funny. I wasn't expecting that this prompt here. Usually boils down to these three things: respect, think, responsibility, and the pseudo password. There isn't a password for this environment, so let's fix this here. Oh, that is not going to show anything. Just enter. Clear this out. All right, so let's see. Go. This. Quite sure that it does exist. There it is. I just had everything combobulated, was switching everything around. But nonetheless, I added the new user to the system, and then I also added the user to the group. Took a hell of a lot of typing, but more than I needed to. But nonetheless, I got the job done. So now what I'm going to do is assign a file ownership. So the new employee, again, let's call them researcher 9, they're going to take responsibility for, let's say, project underscore R. Now, what I'm going to do is make them the owner of this particular file, which is going to be the text file, naturally, right? So what I'm going to do is use another command, let's see, to make researcher 9. So, right, the owner of the text file. So it'll be something like this. No, file. There it is. Perfect. So I assigned a file ownership to uh, to researcher 9. So we're good to go there. So now what I'm going to do first, I got to clear this out. Right, I'm going to add the user to a secondary group also. So let's just paint the picture again. Let's say a couple months later, right? This employee's role at the organization has changed for more or less, of course. Now, they're working in both, let's say, the research and the sales department. Um, Kind of makes sense, kind of doesn't, depend on what the angle is. But let's just say they're in the research and the sales department. It's quite a large check they're probably getting, hopefully. Now, what I'm going to do is add researcher 9 to a secondary group, which is this time the sales underscore team. Right. So the primary group is still the research team, but the secondary group is going to be the sales team because that's the secondary job. So I'm going to use usermod, right? Again, along with these commands here, right? With the group, actually paste that. And then I'm going to add, actually, this almost what I did last time. Research 9, there it is. Perfect. All right, so I've successfully added. I didn't get any error message or no file or directory exists or anything like that. So it's safe to assume that I've successfully added the secondary group for the sales underscore team as far as researcher 9. And to give a breakdown of these particular commands, right? So the options for Linux commands are case sensitive. And so I have to make sure I use the uppercase A, I'm sorry, the lowercase a and the uppercase G, and I'll explain a little bit why as far as certain commands in another video, or maybe further down the line in this one. But nonetheless, to move forward with my next task, actually my last one, I'm actually going to delete a user or showcase deleting a user. So let's again paint the scenario. A few years later has passed for researcher 9, right? Their contract got extended. Then they eventually became a W-2 worker. And let's say they wanted to transition to another company. Let's say they became a mother or what may have you. They're just not with the company anymore, right? So researcher 9 decided to leave the company. Now I have to remove them from the system as the administrator or security professional. Again, roles may vary based off enterprise, of course, right? So I'm now going to run the command. Let's see, user, and it's really simple, right? User del researcher. Uh, researcher 9. User Group researcher 9, not remove. Okay. That's fine. It's expected. I mean, it's still kind of caught me off guard, but it was expected because what happens is when you create a new user in Linux, a group with the same name as the user is automatically created, and the user is the only member of that group. Now, after removing users, it's good practice normally to clean up any such empty groups that may remain behind. So now what I'm going to do instead of running the user delete, I'm going to actually run the group delete, right? Voila, there you go. Perfect. So the removing the group or deleting the group in this case also removes the user, researcher 9, and this also brings us to the conclusion of the video. So much fun, again, using Linux bash shell commands. So I've showcased practical experience in using these commands for adding a user adding a new user to a group and why you may do that, why not, and also changing user permissions to a file or on files rather, and also deleting a user as well, making me just a bit more proficient in using these commands to make a more well-rounded security professional. Nonetheless, hope to see you in the next one. In the meantime, stay curious, stay secure.